Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Steve Larsen, and you're listening to Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
How you guys doing? Hey, have you guys ever seen those oxygen restriction masks? Those things are nuts. I bought one, and this morning I went on this run, and it was so much harder than I ever anticipated it being. I used to backpack a lot. I know I talked about that a couple times, but when I was backpacking, there was this time we climbed Pikes Peak. If you know what that is, a very famous mountain in Colorado. And it's funny because there's a tram that takes you up to the top. It's above 14,000 feet. And when you get that high, I mean, walking just takes the breath out of you. It feels like you're exercising when you're just walking. And so we climbed it though. And we started super early in the morning. We start climbing up this thing. And it's so funny when you start getting above tree line, which is usually around 11,000 feet, meaning it's so high that trees can't grow anymore. So it's above tree line. And you start getting really deliberate in the steps that you take. And it was funny because that was a very challenging hike, actually. I liked it a lot, but it was funny because I started feeling like that to this morning when I just put this mask on. If I run down to the street light, that's just like street light and back, that's 2 miles, almost on the dot. So if I just do that, and it's funny, it took me like an extra 5-10 minutes than it normally would because I was just like sucking wind. I even had it on like the lowest setting, and I was like, good grief. I forgot, like, my high altitude lungs are just gone. So anyway, hey, I've been listening to and re-listening to all of the old Funnel Hacking Live speeches, all of them. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm almost done with the 2016 replays. I'll go back to the 2015 replay soon, then I'll go to 2017. I don't really know why I started in that order, but I did. And it's been a lot of fun to go back through and do that. It's fascinating to remember, like, oh yeah, I remember when I had that aha, that was at this event here, or I remember like this personal development growth piece, this happened here or there, whatever. And what's interesting is to go back and listen to all the things, and I'm like, how come I never heard him say that the first time, right? I think it's the reason why. I mean, my 2-year-old, my 4-year-old, I still have to say the same things to them over and over and over again. Hey, stop hitting your sister. Hey, be nice. Hey, be nice. Hey. Yeah, I mean, it's just human nature. We have to hear things a million times before we actually hear it, which I think is it's kind of fascinating when you think of it like that. That's why I was laughing. Someone's like, well, I already read the book Expert Secrets. I'm like, that is one of the most core marketing books that is in existence today. You've only read it once, right? I've just reread 108 Split Tests. I did, okay? And I went through, and why? Because there's all these things that you continue to get from it over and over and over again, right? When they are the classics, when they're the things that change the way a market behaves, why would you not study them like crazy, right? I listened to a awesome course. It's by Perry Belcher, and if you can't handle swearing, don't listen to it. But it's by Perry Belcher, and it's oh my gosh, is it the Secret Selling System? I think it's what it is. That book that course is freaking amazing. It's like 18 hours, but that is fantastic. I'm gonna go back and re-listen to that here shortly, I think, because that. Man, that was incredible. Anyway, so I keep going back to like the greats, I keep going back to and what's funny is that like there's so much new material around me at all times that I have not even begun to dive into because I feel like I've not mastered some of the simple things that are right in front of me. You know what I mean? I only like to learn things for a purpose. Even all the DISC tests and all the 16 personalities tests, all that stuff, that even says so in there, right? I only like to listen and learn and study from things that I will use right now. I'm not a good general learner, which has turned out to be a huge blessing because I don't get distracted by all this other garbage that's just, frankly, it doesn't matter that I'm on or not, right? Anyway, so one of the things I was picking up today and I was kind of refreshing my mind on was a book that I read in college. And it's funny, like when you read things the first time and when you're brand new, not brand new, when you're not as experienced in an industry and you start reading the books from that industry, it's funny how like the first few books or courses you take is just like mind blowing. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. What, you automate your emails out in this thing called the soap opera series, right? That's like the most basic thing on the planet, right? And especially for our world and what we do, right? And so what I think is interesting about this is so I went through and I picked up this book that I read in college, and at the time I was like, it was really good. I really enjoyed the first half of it. It's a book called Visionary Business by Mark Allen. And I'll be honest, the first half of the book, I got some good things from it. The second half got a little weird. It's talking about how the business has like a soul and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know about that. The business has a value ladder. The business has a really cool offer, right? Sexy offer, some false beliefs it's attacking. I don't think it has a soul. But anyway, I don't know, maybe I'm just not open-minded enough or something like that. I don't know. So it's fascinating, though, because one of the realizations I had, this is where I'm trying to take this episode, just so you know, one of the realizations that I had as I was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, was that I was studying areas of business that did not apply to where I was at the time. Okay? And I know I've talked about this before as well, right? Just-in-time learning, stuff like that. I believe it's good in phases, you know what I mean? Every once in a while you got to just drink deeply, and I can tell, I'm not exactly sure when, but I can tell that sometime soon I'm going to go through another really, really, really deep learning phase, and it's going to be me primarily focusing on the 7 to 8 figure area, because I think that my webinar is going to hit $1 million probably summer to the latter part of the year, somewhere in there. I think that's when I'll hit it. And so then primarily what I've been focusing is the 0 to 1 figure area, right? Because that's where my personal thing is on right now. And so while I've made $1 million for a lot of other people many times, this one on my own, that's what I've been focusing on, obviously. And what I realized, though, is 3 or 4 years ago, is I was studying these areas of business that I was not in. It was just general learning, and therefore I was a distraction, and I was literally getting nowhere. And so it's fascinating because I picked this book up again this morning, Visionary Business, and I start looking through the book, and I start reading through it again. And I was looking at just my habit is that if something's like really, really amazing, I will fold the bottom corner of the page. So next time I pick the book back up again, I'll look at like the key points. And so if you look at all my books, that's one of the reasons it takes me so long to read them. But the reason why is because I can come back later and I just look at all the corners of the pages that are folded up on the bottom, and I can read just that part again. I'm like, oh yeah, that was like the core thing of this part. Oh yeah, that was like the core idea of this one, right? And I can pick back up really quickly and refresh when I need to. And it works well. And so anyways, I was doing that. I picked up Visionary Business and started looking through, and I was looking through all the little turned up corners on the bottom page. And it was fascinating because there's some really interesting. I liked some of the key parts that it teaches about management. And I don't know why the heck I was studying management when I had no one to manage, right? Like I just barely, like you guys saw, I just barely launched the hiring funnel. Thank you to those of you guys who are applying. I appreciate that a lot, actually. Those of you guys who want to work with me, that really means a lot. If you did not hear that episode, it's like 2 episodes before this one. It's called My Hiring Funnel. And you can back up and just listen to those. Anyway, awesome stuff. So, I was looking this up again, and there's these 2 different styles of management that it goes through. And it says, this is what it says, okay? It's on page 68. It says, there are 2 styles of management: management by crisis and management by goals. Those caught in the management by crisis trap are always working in the business and never have time to work on the business. Their vision of the future is lost. I think that's fascinating. It's very much a, we should all react to crisis, obviously well, and try and move on. But you can totally get that. I mean, I totally understand that. Totally get that, right? Management by crisis, right? Oh my gosh, we're gonna have this bad thing happen, and this bad thing happen, and this bad thing will happen. And like you almost like bring to fruition your fears rather than focusing on what the goals are, and that's what you bring to fruition, right? And that's what you actually bring to the present now and actually make happen. And so I thought that's kind of interesting. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm hiring people now, right? Like I have actual employees. Number one, I'm an actual employee of my own business. That's how we structured it. And pretty soon my wife probably will be also, and things like that. And that's great. But like, I have an actual employee now, like, and now I look at this and I'm like, management by crisis, huh? And I've had a ton of VAs, right? But this is my first like real employee, W-2 employee, like actual employee, right? And I'm excited. It's gonna be so fun, right? And he's not starting for a little bit here, but super excited to have him. You guys will all know who he is. I'll introduce him. He's the man. Wouldn't have hired him otherwise, obviously. We actually have quite the history together, which is kind of cool. It's funny that's how that's turning out. We're getting back together, getting the band back together, man. It's gonna be awesome. So, anyway, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And what I'm doing though is I'm looking through this and I'm thinking management by crisis. That's fascinating. How do I avoid a management by crisis scenario? And instead, how do I manage by vision, by goals, right? And obviously, there's times for both. But how do I primarily stay in the management by goals area? Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. I can't remember what, I was at a fat event or I don't know, I was coaching someone. I can't remember who it was, but they were asking, how do I find good people? How do I find good people? And I know I talked about this a little bit in the hiring episode, but this is the phase I'm in, so I'm just kind of documenting my stuff as I'm going through here, right? Anyway, it was fascinating because I was watching Russell and I was listening to Russell, and he said, hey, I was hired from within. And that's what he said that time when he sent out a whole bunch of emails. He sent out, I've watched him do a lot of things like that where he hires from within. He hires from within the culture, which is why it's important to build it, right? Expert Secrets talks about that. You build the culture. But as you're building the culture, you're actually having these true believers come out of the woodwork, right? Me, right? It's safe to say that I'm a ClickFunnels fanatic. Like, people know that, and he knows that, everyone knows that, and that's fine, and they should. That's great. But his ability to create culture is what allowed him to hire from within. And that's all I'm starting to say is that start thinking through, like, hey, what's your management style and things like that. But so much of it will already be dictated by how your culture has been set, right? Russell had to spend 0 time indoctrinating me. When he hired me, he had to spend 0 time teaching me ClickFunnels, 0 time, you know what I mean? And it's because I was so into it already. And so that's all I've been doing is looking for the individuals who are so into what I do, right? You guys, like I always say, you guys are gonna get like 10% of the people who follow you to just be like the fanatics, the people that are crazy, right? I'm sure I'll throw some kind of event. I'm sure I'll throw some kind of my own inner circle or some kind of coaching, something in the future of my own, right? It'll be 10% of you that are really, really, really Steve Larsen fanatics and would love to come hang out and would love to learn the next piece and would love to have, and that's exactly what happened at the last mastermind that we threw, right? That's exactly it. And it's you have to understand that's the natural progression, but I did not worry about that or focus on it until now, right? Meaning I've been building the culture, I've been building all those things, but I've been building all that stuff, but I'm not studying management until I need it, right? And then again, I'm not even really studying it because they're already indoctrinated into what my vision is, right? I want to change the world. I don't exactly know how yet, but I know I do, right? And it took me a long time to have like the cojones to say that kind of thing. I always thought that was kind of weird, like, oh yeah, I want to change the world, like, oh, right? And I don't know why I was always timid about saying that kind of thing, but not anymore, right? And I'm trying to find other individuals who are also like that. So it's been kind of fun because I know those of you guys have been applying to work with me, whether as a funnel builder, an assistant, a support person, right, a high ticket salesman. You understand where I'm trying to drive the ship, and that's the benefit of doing it that way. It's kind of fun. It's really fun, actually. So anyways, that's all I really want to say in this episode. Start building culture, because when it comes time to actually hire, you've got to be able to have that culture that's already there so that you can hire from people who are already indoctrinated. And anyway, there's another cool quote. I was looking at another one of like the turned pages in this book, Visionary Business. Again, I really like the first half of this book. The second half for me got a little woo-woo. I don't mind woo-woo, but in a business, like, there's nothing like innately spiritual in my business itself. You know what I mean? My logo's not speaking to me. You know, it's I'm the one driving it. You know what I mean? If anything, it's the woo-woo in me. Anyway, we can go on a whole other topic there. I'm going to back up. This last half of the book was a little bit weird for me, but there's another, is on page 92, about halfway down. It says, Hire people who are passionate about their jobs and who have the suitable personality for the job. Hire a technician for a technician's job and a manager for a manager's job. I think that's so true. Gosh, that's so true. Understand what you are innately geared to do. And it's one of the reasons why I have people take the DISC test. It's one of the reasons why I have people take that 16 personalities test, why I have them film a video. If you can't film a video and put it on YouTube and give me the link, like you are not suited, you're already not suited to work with my stuff. You know what I mean? That makes sense. And I know you guys already know how, you all know how to do that, but that's the reason why I do that. Anyway, so it's been kind of fun to go through that and start looking at these different management styles. Make sure I'm not managing by crisis. Make sure I'm managing through goals and saying, hey, let's go here, let's drive there. And I'm trying to do it in a way where I'm not babysitting, right? Not that I need to, not that I'm going to have to with this guy. He's the man. I know I'm not going to have to, right? He's the man. But like when you were growing up, I'm sure we all did this to a degree. We're all growing up. Mom and dad give you a task, right? Or whoever, your guardian, whatever it was. Whenever you're younger, somebody gave you a task. Could be a teacher, right? You were given a task. The moment that individual walked away, you had such a less fire in the gut to get that activity done, right? Same thing when I was in the Army, guys. Which, by the way, I'm finally finishing up the paperwork. I'll be out of the Army here very shortly, which is very, very exciting, actually. But anyway, so I am... Anyway, in the Army, like, right, a commander or a first sergeant or someone of authority would come up and give some kind of task, and everyone would be like, Roger, oh yeah, I'll get it done, Ron. And like as soon as they leave, right, sometimes it'd be like, oh, okay, we have like 3 hours to do that thing. We really need like 30 minutes. Okay, well, we're all just gonna hang out for a little while, blah, 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 right? And then that person comes back and everyone acts busy again, right? That's not the management style or scenario or culture that you want inside your business, right? And what's so awesome is the people that I'm hiring, especially this guy. I'm so excited for him to come in because I already know that his culture and my culture together match and mix when we do well. I am not babysitting. I am not managing by crisis. I am not managing as a babysitter, right? I'm setting the goals. I'm saying, let's do this, right? Let's do this over here. Let's take that mountain. Let's do it. And I don't have to be in the room for those things to be done. And I'm so thankful for that because I could quote so many jobs, and I'm sure you can as well, where that was the culture, where as soon as the individual left, right? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. There was management by force, right? Management by crisis, a terrible management style to be a part of that. Anyway, so those are things kind of going through my head with this, and hopefully it's helpful somehow. But understand, again, I didn't worry about any of this stuff until I needed it. I don't know if worry is the right word either, but I'm not concerning myself with it until I need it. And I really don't need it that hard anyway because the people that I'm hiring and bringing on are already indoctrinated. And the reason why, so I think it almost negates some of the things that are in this book is also kind of what I'm saying. Like you don't have to do all those pieces so deeply, right, that a lot of these other management books will talk about when you have a strong culture in the business and when you hire from within. That's the main key. That's all I'm trying to say in this. It's kind of a long-winded way to say it. But anyways, guys, hopefully it's helpful. Thanks so much for being a listener. And we are well past 100,000 downloads now. I just have not had time to actually go and create the new intro music, which I'm very excited to do. There's something special with it that I'm trying to put in it. So anyway, it will be done hopefully shortly. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Want to get one of today's best internet sales funnel for free? Go to salesfunnelbroker.com/free funnels to download your pre-built sales funnel today.